Are we finally live? Oh man, guys, if I ever had a curse, it would be a technological curse. Whew, in 1 week I've suffered a broken camera and two messed up shitty laptops. So we're moving forward into the investment phase of the company now, and that's spending all of our money on crap that we already have, but we need better crap. So there we go. Anyway, you're welcome to the second night of marking out with the Godfather, primarily because I'm bored and secondarily because there are a bunch of shows this weekend. There are shows for you Indiana people. There are shows for the Ohio people. But tonight's topic is going to be kayfabe. And if you don't know what kayfabe is, I'm going to just go ahead and get the Urban Dictionary definition because it always seems to be really simplistic and to the point. Let's see here. UrbanDictionary.com. I love this place. A term in pro wrestling, kayfabe was the unsaid rule that wrestlers should stay in character during the show and in public appearances in order to maintain a feeling of reality, albeit suspended among the fans. Yes, if you are a fan of wrestling, you do suspend your belief because when you watch a movie, you don't go, that's Bruce Willis. And you know, that's Bruce Willis, the actor, but he's playing a character, and the character, good or bad, is what you're suspending your belief for. Otherwise, you're just watching Bruce Willis walk around and I don't know. But kayfabe. It's a funny topic to me because I'm a rabid wrestling fan. I love wrestling. Just with a passion. That's all I talk about. It's pretty much what I think about 24/7. And I'm not even a wrestler. I love wrestling that much. It's what I do. I take pictures. I do videos. I do DVDs. I'm always trying to think of the next thing I can do or the next place I can go or who I can help or who, you know, who could benefit from us, you know, our services or vice versa. As a fan and a producer, kayfabe being broken bothers me a little bit. I'm gonna get a drink, guys. Can you hear me? I'm totally unprepared. I had technological glitches, and it's really spooky in here. Spooky. It's spooky. Kane, Undertaker. So looks like I'm going to drink tap water. I'm not real hip about that, guys. That kind of sucks because they fluoridate the water. The kayfabe, to me, is very important. Being on the other side of the camera, you get to see what the fans don't see, but we don't really discuss that. However, when it hits the ring, even to me it matters, especially when I'm trying to capture a moment. I photographed a show one time, and this has bothered me a little bit. And it was maybe it was the way the show was set up, and not by any means am I putting down the show or the fed that put it on, but I was taking pictures of wrestlers, and I'm really focused on my subject, and I try to pay attention to the background, but I could not help but to keep getting one particular wrestler in the background constantly, and I was like, why is he out here? Why is he being seen the whole show? If you have a match later, people are going to be like, there's that guy that's been standing there all night. They may even start to wonder if you're a wrestler unless they know who you are, and that was a big blow to kayfabe because it just went out the door at that moment. When this person wouldn't go backstage before their match. But anyway, it's important to keep it intact for the fans. And on the indie scene, it's either there or it's not, and that really depends on the surroundings. I've been to shows where the wrestlers are kind of intermingling with the fans before and after, and I've been to shows where there was intermissions where all the wrestlers came out, which is, if you're having a signing or something, I guess, or if you're having a meet and greet, cool, but an intermission where you meet the wrestlers, unless it's a face, I mean, a heel really shouldn't be out talking to the people because people should hate them, in my opinion. And if you're a face, you want to go out and butter up the crowd, fine, go ahead and do it. I don't care. I mean, but I don't care what you do. It's up to the wrestler to and the promotion to uphold that level of integrity in kayfabe, or just in the business period, in order to maintain that gray area where people suspend their belief. I was a manager in a show once where a lady tried to come across the barrier with a chair after us. Now, you talk about maintaining kayfabe, we did. I even ran out the side door, got into the car with the people who brought me, and left. I think that was towards the end of my tenure as Mr. Ron in the big world of professional wrestling as a manager. I wasn't real hip on the fact of later on, I got to take some bumps and I'm going to have to do this. And I did take a bump or two or three or four, but I was not a young man. I was 30 and a little late in my life to be getting beat up all the time, especially with a bad back. But anyway, I digress. Kayfabe, very important. If it's not your match and you're having and you have a big show, if you have a big crowd, stay backstage, man. This is a time for everybody to shine. I've seen videos of shows. This is gonna be like I'm just gonna talk about examples of where I think kayfabe was broken, and I could be totally wrong, and you could totally correct me. But like shows where there's so many people at ringside, you kind of wonder what's going on. I mean, who's the manager? Who's the valet? Is this a clique? Is this a faction? Is that the promoter? Is that a ref? Unless the ref's in stripes, and is that security? Everybody should be clearly labeled, and even then, you got too many people around ringside. If you're meant to be there, have your role minimalized. If you're security, do your job and keep the fans and the talent separate, because somebody could pop off and punch a wrestler and vice versa, and we don't want that. We don't want violence between the fans and the wrestlers. The fans can get worked up like that, and 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be a fan that's going to do a lot of damage to a wrestler, because a wrestler gets beat up for a living and can take it, but we don't want that happening, Same with being a photographer, you have to stay out of the way and maintain it. You have to help kind of maintain the kayfabe. In a sense, you can't interact with the wrestlers if you're a photographer, and you can't interact with you just can't interact with the talent. If you're at the side and you know somebody and you want to speak to them briefly, that's cool too. Or to maybe give like I always take my son, and we have a certain corner we sit at one venue, and he holds my equipment, and when something cool happens, I always turn around and go, or I'll go over and give him a high five, because we're still fans, and we're also kind of off into our own little corner, and we're not hurting the integrity of the match. So, and also, I have to ask if fans, or if you even work for a show, if somebody has a camera on their shoulder and they're filming, don't say the camera operator's name and don't tell them what to film, because if we're filming, most likely we're filming for publishing, and it's a pain to go in and edit out background audio of somebody saying your name and saying don't miss that, don't miss that. We appreciate you, the fans, telling us get that, but if any good photographer knows, or any good camera operator knows what to film, and during a match what's going to be set up. If somebody's going to go through a table, even the fans at home know when it's going to happen. You just got to pay attention. So that's even important, because if I listen to a match on the internet and I hear people talking and cursing and sneezing, like the person holding the camera is cussing, like they're going, oh, what the F, this guy. I mean, if you're a fan filming it, cool, but if you're filming it for a wrestler that just be quiet. Shut up. The match is going to be 10 minutes long, and you can be quiet that long, Sorry if that was rude, but it's just one of some of my pet peeves that, especially if you're filming, you can't be biased. I know you want to put your guy over and mark out for him, but you gotta be, if you're filming a match for a wrestler, because they may want to send it somewhere and have commentary put on it. That's one of the things the Markout Mafia does. You send us a match, we'll do commentary on it. You can contact us about the rates at markoutmafia.com. Click contact, fill out the thing. The thing is the form. God damn, that's terrible fluoridated water. So I guess, you know, the bottom line is, in order for the business to stay, you know, how you got to think 40 years ago, good guys and bad guys wouldn't be seen together. Not till Vince McMahon was all, it's sports entertainment, you know, when he tore down that fourth wall. You know, it was the business was guarded. And now it seems that there are a lot of people in the business. And I tell you what, you could have taken me back 10 years or more before I really got into the indie circuit. I couldn't have told you who an indie wrestler was. If I knew a wrestler, it was like a buddy of mine. And I couldn't even tell, I didn't have a favorite. But then when I got into it, I started picking my favorites, and I know who I liked. And I know who I respected. I respect everybody, but I know I have my favorites. And I have my favorite place. Like every company that I work with is like watching a different station. You know, it's like a different show. And then what's really cool is these guys go between the feds and wrestle too. I just totally derailed again. Every video I derail. Anyway, God dang it, guys, where was I? Between technological glitches and the onsets of Alzheimer's, I'm really Michael J. Fox in this, aren't I? That was inappropriate. It's not Parkinson's, it's Alzheimer's. So, yeah, we're keep kayfabe alive. I think I see a new shirt in my future. I was just going to say, kayfabe? Kayfabe. So that brings me to shirts. Yeah, there's a lot of shirts. A lot of people are sharing shirts with me. We got, I want to send some shout outs to some people. Of course, Ace Diamond, my buddy, my pal, my ace. Yes, you can catch him on Matt Chat. And let's see if he's got a Facebook here. Let's go over and check out old Ace Diamond. Sorry, buddy. But you know what? You can go to my Facebook, go to Markout Mafia. You can find him on there. He's in the friends. He's in the likes. If you're savvy, you know what to do. If you're not savvy, then sorry about it. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, well, you know, Ace is a manager, and he runs a podcast every Thursday night at, 10 or 11. It's called Matt Chat. Check it out. Also, Chris Payne, the one true superstar, Chris Payne. You can find him over at markoutmafia.com under Friends. We're going to go on down to, Chris has T-shirts available on his Facebook, and you can find him at shows. He will be this weekend. This is the weekend, guys, of June 20th to June 22nd. So if you're watching this in August, these aren't the shows we're talking about. There should be a thing at the beginning that says what these are about. Put your glasses on, old man. Oh, and promoters, you can check his Facebook out and contact him through there, or fans, you can find out his schedule there. I want you to check out Husky Howard over at WrestleOhio.com and ProWrestlingTees.com. All things independent wrestling for WrestlingOhio.com for all your Ohio indie wrestling needs. We had to get the two distinguished. They have all your Ohio indie wrestling needs, and we're all things indie wrestling. Also, Damian Michael Cole shared a flyer with us for NEW Heatwave, June 21st in Shelbyville, Indiana, at the Shelbyville Boys Club. And I've heard of this Fed, and it's right in my backyard. I can't wait to go check it out. I'm excited that now I've found a show in Indiana that's close and I can go to, because everywhere we go in Ohio is at least an hour away, and I don't mind driving at all. The drive is nothing. The drive is relaxing. I drive there, I'm getting pumped up, and when I leave, I'm so amped after I leave the show that the drive is nothing back because my adrenaline's still pumping. Yes, even as an action photographer and a fan, you can have that adrenaline rush. It is so great. You get to be the part of every match. You're there at ringside. I have the best seat out of any mark in the world. I have the best seat at ringside every time. I love it. Anyway, you can catch Heatwave. That'd be June 21st, and that's at the Shelbyville Boys and Girls Club, 710 South Miller Street, Shelbyville, Indiana. Doors at 6 p.m., bell at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15 at the front row. Those are limited. $5 for kids front row. $12 at the door. $10 in advance for general admission. And all police and military servicemen and women are free with an ID. Yeah, I had to squint to read that. That probably looks really cool on film. Nothing says I'm staying young like squinting to read, you know. So definitely support the indies, man. And support the indies by keeping kayfabe alive. To the promoters, to the wrestlers, everybody. You know, I'm just a lonely mark with the camera, and I have an opinion, and I stand behind my opinions, unless I'm wrong, and I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. But you know, kayfabe is the juice that keeps the business going, and if we don't keep it going, then we're going to lose. It's going to become purely sports entertainment. It's going to be, there's not going to be any bloodlust for the matches. Like, I've seen guys, there are feuds online. If you look around and read, you could catch feuds online, and that's great. I know I'm probably breaking kayfabe by talking about it, but you know, if these guys have a feud, who am I to know if they don't really have beef with one another? Maybe they really don't like each other. It's synonymous in the business for some guys not to like each other but work really well together. I don't know. But, yep, that's the shirt now. Keep kayfabe alive. This brings me to something I did not get to talk about last night, and that was gimmick matches. A gimmick match is always kind of something, it's kind of like the sideshow or the creme de la creme of a card. Like, I don't know, if you have okay, we'll just use some of the Money in the Bank. Okay, that's a gimmick match. They have one a year. Very good. They have a TLC match occasionally. TLC is a great match. Is a great match to watch if worked by the right guys, and the same with steel cage matches, and also somebody told me that ladies matches are gimmick matches, and on the indie circuit I don't see a lot of females, so I can see where that would be a gimmick match, but I think the ladies can rise above that and lose that classification. I don't see it as a gimmick match. I see it as a match between two competitors that there is not a lot of on the circuit. So I guess it would be like midget matches. It's a gimmick match. But anyway, my point of this whole thing is moderation. Gimmick and moderation. You can't have too much of a good thing. Steel cage matches are great. TLC matches are great. Strap matches are great. Dog collar matches are great. But if you have a dog collar match every night, or if you have a whole night of dog collar matches, it kind of loses its luster after a while, because not everybody can work in that environment the same as the other guys who could steal the show, you know? Like, there may be two guys, you may have two big guys that go in a strap match and beat the dog crap out of each other and entertain the crowd for 60 minutes. And then you have 8 other matches to fill with that same gimmick. Some of the other guys aren't going to know what to do, or they're not going to be able to work it. I mean, not everybody's made to wrestle every kind of match. That's why people like Shawn Michaels are, you know, a diamond in the rough. You know, the dude could work with anybody and make anybody look good while making himself look good in pretty much any gimmick match in the world. He was like the first in what? Well, he wasn't. He was one of the first ladder matches in the WWF. He was in the first Hell in a Cell, and he was in the first something else. I can't remember. But moderation is the key, or you're going to lose your audience. That's who you got to listen to. I'm not a booker. I'm not a promoter. But from my standpoint, like I said, I'm a rabid fan. I love wrestling. You should listen to your fans. And if a couple fans say they want, you know, a whole night dedicated to a gimmick match, maybe the general consensus would be a better route to take, I guess. Because if you're going to have, like, a hair match, you want it to end a feud. Or if you're going to have a loser leaves town match, you want it to imagine a whole night of loser leaves town matches. Oh, just have the Greyhound out sitting out front. Get on in, man. Come on, get the boogie. God damn. You want it to end a feud. And that should be your your the 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 money comes from the asses in the seats, and the asses in the seats are fans. And that's who you want to entertain. The less asses you have, the less money you have, the less shows you have, and nobody's going to get paid. So having a hook to catch your audience on, to get those asses in the seats, is key. And that would be your gimmick match. Honestly, I would like to see a hair match, guys. I would actually pay to see it and come photograph it. If somebody would book a hair match with somebody with long hair like me, and two guys with long hair, somebody gets their hair shaved, I will even, let Mark Out Mafia shave the head. We will come photograph it, shave the head, and completely mark out for it. But it's got to be, you got to be in moderation, because you got to listen to your fans. Also, there are a lot of feds in Ohio. There's a lot of wrestling in Ohio. There's more wrestling in Ohio than Indiana. There's a lot in Indiana, but it's all up north or down south, and it's completely just, it's not convenient for me to drive 2.5 hours. And I didn't realize how big this Chicken McNugget state was, but Ohio is pretty big too. Fortunately for me, I'm right on the Ohio border, and there's some counties an hour away that I could travel to. There are 3 towns, boom, 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 all an hour from me in different directions, or actually 4 now, that I could travel to and cover wrestling. I digress, though. But if there's some people who run in the same towns, or they run the same nights, it's a good idea to work with your competition. Why? These are the indies, and this isn't the Monday Night Wars. We need to come together. There's such a pool of talent that there's no reason why 2 people can't work together and share talent and try to profit from that, For example, if it were me, if I was running in a town, I would never run the same night as somebody. I would run a different night, the opposite night, the night before. The feud could continue. Can you imagine that? You have 10 people, you have 20 people come to the show one night to watch a rematch the next night. You got 20 asses in the seat already. Even if 50% of the people that were at your show come, you still have a fan base that's there to watch the mainstays. Because SmackDown and Raw have their mainstay superstars. Not every superstar is on every show. John Cena is rarely on SmackDown. So you have your guys that people come to see on both feds. You just don't oversaturate the card and book the guys on both nights, or book the same types of matches for both nights. Then you're going to lose revenue, and you're going to lose asses in the seats. We got thought we had another plug for the show. So working together would be the route I would take, because there are so many wrestlers who wrestle on different cards. I go to 3 different shows and I see some of the same guys, and that is not a complaint. That is a great thing, and I am thoroughly entertained by these gentlemen, and I love to see that they go around and help their friends out and wrestle here, there, and they're developing a fan base, and it's broad and it's vast, because the world is so much bigger outside of that arena, or wherever you're wrestling at. There are other places to wrestle. There are other people to wrestle against and wrestle for. And I'm sure a lot of wrestlers travel here, there, and everywhere. But the promoters themselves, I don't think, I'm not saying everybody, but there should be just more camaraderie. And I've seen it, and then I've seen it dissipate. And it's to me, it's unfortunate for the fans. It's like when CM Punk walked out and didn't give anybody an explanation. That was a douche move, because we were his fans and we wanted to see him, and he could have at least said, I'm just burned out, and said it himself instead of hearing it from the Bleacher Report or whatever. But there are fans that go to the same shows, and sometimes they have to miss one show to go to another show. So it's, work together, man. If we had 2 shows, we don't even have a show. Hey, you know what? Bring wrestling to Connorsville. Connorsville doesn't have a wrestling show. And there are places here to run. There are bingo halls that you can set a ring up in and fit 300 people in. There's an expo hall here that holds about 800 people. There are places to run, and this town is lacking on the end of revenue coming in, or people coming in to see anything, or any kind of attraction. So contact City Hall here in Connorsville, Indiana, 47331. Contact Leonard Urban, the mayor, and ask him for a building We thought about doing this because we do a thing called Fayette County Neighborhood Day. We go around and we clean up a property, or we clean up the sidewalks, or we do different stuff to try to beautify the community and improve the overall morale and attitude of our city. We don't want everybody to walk around with the you can't do nothing bad, you change it, can't win it. So I thought about putting our heads together and talking to the city about sponsoring a wrestling show. Give us a building to run in and pay for the expenses to get the stuff here, and then let the promoter charge what you want, which I'm telling you right now with the community, $5 at the door is good enough. People have it hard enough as it is, but I guarantee that you would draw and put asses in the seats with enough advertisement, with us advertising it, and with some marketing behind it, and it would bring something else here, especially with the fair coming around. Be a good time to run because there's people already, you know, you don't want to run at the same time with the fair because people are already spending their money at the fair. You want to run like the week before, so that way wrestling, fair, there's all these events going on. Just an idea. Hey, I'll keep you posted. I'm going to write that. Hey, check this out right now. I'm going to write this down right here so everybody knows. Okay. WrestleFest 47331. And what a perfect opportunity to have the Markout Mafia Invitational. We have a trophy shop locally. Have a trophy made locally. You can bust it over the winner's head. I don't care what you do. Anyway, this is the Godfather. I want you to go to markoutmafia.com. We got some shirts coming up. Oh, I'm not done yet. I'm closing the doors. I'm not even done yet. I want to tell you what's going on. Tomorrow night we have 1CW in Franklin, Ohio, 6972 South Dixie Highway. We will be there to photograph the entire card. Madman Pondo will be present. Saturday night in Middletown, Ohio, 555 North Verity Parkway in Middletown, Ohio. We will be photographing at LSC for their 3rd anniversary show, Revolution 4.0. Also, don't forget, NEW is running in Shelbyville, Indiana, Saturday night. If you're in Indiana, or if you're in Shelbyville, Morristown, anywhere in that area or in Indiana, you want to go see NEW, go check them out, the Boys and Girls Club in Shelbyville, Indiana. And this is the Godfather telling you to mark out. Just do it. Mark out. Keep kayfabe alive.